Okay, I have another video. This video is about Michael Jackson and his deity. Um, you'll have the deity inside. I was It came to me, something was I was looking for, like, some other music this past weekend, and that CD I was looking for all over the city, could not find it. And this certain place I had called, the last place I had called, asked did they have the CD I was looking for. They said no, they don't have it. And all of a sudden, something just told me, said, "Hey, ask for the Michael Jackson Bad CD." I said, "Okay." In my mind, I said, "Okay," but the artist I was looking for, it was a certain Chris Brown album. So that's what I was looking for initially at the beginning. So something just told me, said, "Hey, why don't you check out to see if you can find a Michael Jackson Bad album?" I'm like, "Why not?" I'm like, "All right, so here we go." So I asked him. He said, "Yeah, we got it." I said, "What's the odds of that?" There's no odds, because everything happens for a reason. The ancestors give you something, and actually, it could. This is I don't channel things how everybody else channel things. It'll just happen. Like it might happen the way it happened for me, or a different way. When you channel your family members, or certain artists, or whatever it is, you'll channel something, information, whatever, and it'll come to you. Okay. But I never looked at it as a channel before, but now you start seeing things come to you. It's like they're trying to get a message out. It's like that's like the movie Sixth Sense. The ghost that came to the boy, they were talking to him, and over just trying to resolve their life and their death, and how to get over to the next phase of life, or the phase of existence for them. So back to what I was saying. Oh yeah. Um, yeah, the Michael Jackson CD I was looking for was the Bad album by Michael Jackson, and it was there for only $3. I was like, oh, okay, hold it, I'll be there. So once I got it, listened to it, it's a really good album. Is different from a Thriller album. You know, of course, it's not supposed to be the same. You live your life, you putting out a different piece of art, different piece of ideas, a different set of ideas that you wanted to come out and manifest as your art. So okay, so of course, so we had some songs I knew on there and some songs I didn't know. So I'm like, okay, this is, and they were him and the computer producer that he had was Quincy Jones, for the Thriller album and the Bad album. So I noticed, I believe he wouldn't produce for him anymore, if I'm not mistaken, after that album. He never produced it, because he was really getting his ideas and thoughts across in a highly creative way. And he did a lot of writing on the Bad album. I really noticed on the Michael Jackson Bad album. So I'm like, man, that's, because usually everybody just think that he just received notes from people, and he just, or lyrics from people, and he just read it. But he wrote on this album really heavy. So I'm like, wow, I didn't really know that at all. So I'm like, okay. So I got the CD, really stood out to me. Um, so I'm not trying to babble on or anything. Babylon, I love Babylon. So back to what I was saying, Michael Jackson, and when I was listening to it, but something told me to listen to the Invincible album I had. Um, Previous video I did, I was incorrect. It's an eye he's showing, and I'm gonna show you after I explain it really quickly. Not trying to hold you. So he has the eye. I'm thinking it's the eye of Horus upside down, but I didn't get into a certain amount of information. So when you have a certain amount of information, you're able to understand certain meanings. Like in movies, you'll see like certain things like symbols, and you wouldn't understand it if it didn't run across you, or you didn't run across it on your path. So me being who I am, going into my path and reading about certain things, vampires in the Typhonian tradition, or the Typhonian um, people, or Typhonians first before the dynastic period in Egypt. The dynasty or dynastic is like the kings and queens, and they would use them in certain time frames. So that was before those time frames. Typhonian is like the dragon or Apep or the snake. So I said all that to say this. I'm gonna get into some information, like some information I got from a book, and I'm gonna get into some pictures of the Michael Jackson albums. Michael Jackson Thriller came out in 1982. Michael Jackson Bad came out in 1987, and the Invincible album came out in 2001. So the thing is, so when I got the Invincible album first, and I have another one of his albums. I just don't want to lose focus. So I was something really. He was really talking to me, you know, during this channel I have. So when you get certain artists' music, you'll be like, especially if they're no longer in the physical form, or what some people call living in the physical body. They're actually able to reach you at their own pace, or at a pace that you're going on your journey. So they'll be able to reach you when you listen to certain music or whatever, looking at their art or movies or whatever it is. So, um, when I had the Invincible album, that's a song we had "Rock My World" on it, and I think the last song, "Threatened," on the album. So what I'm gonna do is get into the pictures of the albums, and then get into the information leading into the pictures I see. All right. Okay, this is the Michael Jackson Invincible album. All right, so when I was listening, before months ago, I used to think that, oh, he put the Eye of Heru, or the Eye of Horus, upside down. I said, I see what he did, but he didn't do that. So when I look at it, I'm like, once I understand this eye. So when you see this is a different eye. It's not the Eye of Horus. This is actually the Eye of Set. So I'm gonna show you a picture of the Eye of Set. Now, one thing I noticed about the Eye of Horus and the Eye of Set, um, so it's detail is very important when you're looking at symbols. So right here, as you see, this eye is highlighted heavily dark over this eye. It's like regular part of the picture, right? So um, reason why it's highlighted like or darkened, it means he's trying to show you something. So, and also green vegetation, or Osiris is actually green, part of vegetation, but Set, that's the Eye of Set right there, kills Osiris. Okay, so and also Horus or Heru has to fight Set, or Set-Typhon. So so this eye right here itself, I'm going to show you a picture I have from a certain book, and I'm going to show you the name of the book too, also, like I always do, so you can always get your own information. You see what I'm giving you the title, and I'm going to read everything. You're going to see everything I'm reading. All right. Okay, the name of this book is called Second Apep, Typhonian Vampire Magic by Michael W. Ford. Okay, this is actually page 42, and this is the Eye of Set right here. Okay, so the Eye of Horus is actually goes down. So Eye of Horus, that eye, he lost his eye, his left eye, when he was facing Set. Set turned into a pig, a black pig, and ate his left eye. So in order for him to, what that eye means when it's actually going down, that means he's actually have to, like Odin, or if you look at Nordic mythology, like in Europe, Switzerland, Germany, in that area, um, Odin loses his eye. He has to go down. Um, he has to go down the well in order to learn his magic. So the same thing. Odin is looked at as Horus or Heru. So he has Heru or Horus he faces Set, and when he has to go through his dark side in order to what? In order to defeat his uncle Set, or like the story of the Lion King, which is Simba, Mufasa, and Scar. Okay, and Scar is Set. Is Mufasa is Osiris or Asar, and Scar is Set, and Simba is Horus or Heru. So this is the eye of Set, and I'm going to show you again the picture that Michael Jackson had pointing up. 11-7, 7-11, that means your magic. Okay, it's pointing up, see? But Horus goes down. Set goes up. And I'm going to show you something. Now, right here, see, and it also goes up just like Michael Jackson's eye. So he's envisioning or portraying himself as Set. Now when I put this together, I was like, whoa, and he was showing me something. He said, hey, now look, now Michael Jackson, you really saw some dangerous things from on the Thriller album, or the Thriller video, when he actually showed us he was actually the monster at the end of the video, or when she screamed, she saw him, and he turned around and showed his face. As me as a youth, as a child, my uncles, they played a joke on me and played that video, and I did not know what I was going to get ready to watch. I was really young, a child, and that video scared the shit out of me. So, but like they was laughing, like I was like my eyes was like buck open, but I'm still watching it. But I was a little scared, but I was still watching it. But I was scared. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so what I'm gonna say is he was showing you the monster he had become on the end, like it was the hidden monster, or the hidden deity, or hidden god inside. So monsters are looked at as evil, right? So now let me show you something. Yeah, monsters are looked at as evil, but I'm going to show you something. Check this out. Okay, I'm in the same book. This is Typhon Set, and that's the version. That's the name, the Greek name, which is all the Greek people actually highly melanated, so-called black people first before they were lightened with different types of people. So okay, let's keep it going. So 1313, that's my odd to stay balanced. I'm gonna keep it going, stay balanced. All right. Typhon Set or Set-Typhon. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you in the first paragraph. No other Egyptian deity has such an impact on the initial emergence of the left-hand path, or Luciferianism. Lucifer or Luciferianism. It means the study of the left-hand path is to pretty much go with your heart. But the left-hand path is the right brain if you're looking at your actual projected self in front of you and what you're walking into. Okay, but let's keep going. Lucifer, let's start right here again. No other Egyptian deity has such an impact on the initial emergence of the left-hand path, or Luciferianism, than Set-An. But make sure you see the name, Seth-An or Set-An, called by black adepts, pretty much the dark side, as the hidden god or hidden deity. The forms of Typhon Set or Set-An are many throughout mythology and historical interpretation. So what I'm going to do is show you something else too also. Set as Seth or Set. as Typhonian Netter. The systems of Abra Malin in Kabbalah have described the holy guardian angel as some aspect of higher being, while vilifying the demon or evil genius as some negative aspect of the psyche itself. Luciferians, by understanding human nature, know that we are neither complete good or evil, balance. We hold the aim towards balance of being creative, shaping our lives in a beneficial and healthy direction, and destructive, defending ourselves against enemies, breaking friendships or relationships, negative to ourselves, doing our duty in the military without guilt or some socially conditioned wrong, etc. etc. All right. Seth, the god of confusion, is reference that Leibovich wrote Seth as a griffin, a guardian and destructive spirit, specifically a beast of destiny, thus finding a relation to the form of the higher intellect of the individual. So the higher intellect, he's a muse. The higher intellect, Michael Jackson is the muse or the musician or the artist. So they make, or the museum. So you make art or whatever it is. So the art covering of the pictures of the albums are as part of his art too, also, or also his magic. The majesty of the will of Seth is probably the most compelling of all Egyptian gods or deities, as he is both beneficial and malefic. Instance, um, like malefic is like malicious. It could be beneficial and malefic. For instance, Seth protects the boat of Ra against Apep, of which represents his primal. Primal means first. So he's actually fighting against his actual self, helping a younger god or deity named Ra, actually facing his old self and don't even know it, because he's in the boat with Ra against Apep, of which represents his primal and chaos embodied Netter. So that's his actual self, his dark side, his primal, his first, and chaos embodied Netter. Chaos is the unknown, the darkness. Okay, when you walk in the room, you can't see, you bumping into stuff. That hurt. Oh, it make me mad. Chaos. Chaos embodied Netter, or hidden self. Again, the hidden self. In turn, he embodies the power of darkness and war. Remember, I don't have this album. Michael Jackson had an album, or some type of, I think it's an album called Blood on the Dance Floor, if I'm not mistaken. See, it says the power of darkness and war. Blood on the dance floor. And he had his arms back like he had the mace of you would see on the papyrus or on the walls of Kemet or Egypt. Okay. So I'm gonna explain the whole thing with Michael Jackson Thriller. So if you look, I'm gonna get you to the pictures of the Michael Jackson Thriller and Michael Jackson Bad album. So if you look at Thriller, you look at the background right here. He's actually in darkness, and you see the light in the back, right? But his clothes, he's wearing all white. So they say, people always call him the Archangel Michael, right? And he like an angel. So, but the angel had to go through something. Remember, he had the whole thing with Pepsi back in the day when he was doing some kind of performance, and next thing you know, he was dancing, and his hair caught on fire. And when he caught on fire, he was rolling around, and they had to use fire extinguishers, and I think to beat it out with clothing or some type of fabric, trying to get it off of him. And it burnt his scalp very bad, and burnt him too. All like not just his scalp, but parts of his body, other parts of his body too. So this is after Thriller, right? So it's like a life changing experience. Remember when Kanye West said when like how Pepsi did Michael? Remember Kanye West? He had a car accident and he almost died. He broke his jaw, and through the wire. That's the same thing. So that deity inside is inside, is in the darkness, and it's making its way to the forefront. So with Michael, you had Thriller. Remember the music video Thriller, when he shows you his darker side, or the daemon, or the genius inside. That monster inside is actually that genius that you hear all the music coming from. So with that being said, so you had 1982 when this album came out, and then the situation with Pepsi when he was burned, and and that was, he was in pain. He had to take the medicine or the drugs or whatever in order to uh, take that. But it would say, I was thinking about this today. So now this is the bad album. So I was thinking about this, and it's a vast difference. If you look at his skin tone from here to here, and his nose has changed slightly too, also. I think, but his lips are the same. So um, now look at. I don't make that all about this video. This is after everything had happened. So I'm gonna break that part down. I'm gonna get to that really fast, how that happened and why that happened. Um, so so you see the outside. You can't have a person that looks like him, or like Marvin Gaye, or that makes certain type of music that that gets um, people riled up, and they love his music. Their energy is up. They're gonna do something to either hurt them or try to kill them. So when he survived that situation with Pepsi, that was something that like the whole thing with Tupac, when he got the quad studio shooting. The deity, remember the necklace he was wearing, he had the deity of what he became, euthanasia. That's the name, euthanasia. So you have this one with Michael. This is like he's showing you he's what? Set. 22 to his past. 222 or 22 as my eye is balanced. And he's right here with me. I can't see him like in the physical. We always think about the physical. He's right here. He's guiding me with this so I can get this information out. So remember the eye of Set. Remember the eye of Set, like I showed you before. You can always rewind this video. Okay, the eye of Set, and that's who he shows you who he was. Remember the time we fell in love. Do you remember the time? Remember that video when he was in Kemet or Egypt? That was him showing you at a different time, the period he time traveled through the sands of time. Maybe turning the sand when he did a spin move at the end. Like the sands of time, he was able to show you something that he remembered. Do you remember this? And he's trying to open or shock you by showing you something that you forgot. We bumped our heads and forgot who we were. So he was just showing you, and he Set, and what, an Egyptian or Kemetic deity. Okay, as you see, Egyptian god. The majesty of the will of Set is probably the most compelling of all Egyptian gods, as he is both beneficial and malefic. Okay, so let's get here. So after the accident with Pepsi happens, he, as you see, but after that, the background, he's wearing white, he's in the darkness. So now he's in the light, just like the yin and yang sign, right? Black and white, right? Put them together. He's showing you something. She's putting the story together. I'm realizing, I'm like, he's putting the story together. So he's showing you what's happening, all right, with itself. So now if you look here, okay, he's actually showing you he's surrounded in the light, but he's showing you he's bad. Okay, that he's his self, his inner or the hidden deity or hidden God in himself is showing itself. It's like, here I am. I'm stretching out. I'm bad now. Either going to make a change for once in my life. It's going to feel real good. I'm going to make a difference. You know, just because you, like they said, just because you looked at it as evil or bad, don't mean you're doing all bad. You're balanced. You're keeping a balance of good and evil. I'm making a change. He said, seeing people on the homeless on the streets, and how could you turn your head like it doesn't exist? So, but he's bad. But he made a change. He said, look in the mirror. He's looking in the mirror. He's looking deep inside. And he said in the left hand path, it's about looking inside, the inner path, the hidden self, and bringing that out. And that's who you are. So everybody can't be themselves. So they'll rather be what's cool, and that's not being themselves. That's actually impeding or slowing themselves down from being their full potential. Okay, so you see Mike in the darkness, um, in the dark, and Thriller. He's thrilled you, and now he's showing, here I am out in the light. So his inner self was in the darkness, and he brought himself to the out to the light as what set in years. And I was listening to the album again today, and the album, he said, "You're gonna try to kill me." He said this on the first song, and it was like he had Biggie on, or the Biggie, the Notorious B.I.G. on that song, and he said in the last line, he said, "Talk to the devil," and then so it's looked at as the devil, but anything. Remember anything like Jesus? Well, I have a video saying and um, Jesus and Satan, or Lucifer and Jesus, they have the same story. They had to fall like we did into a body and raise himself up. And that's what Set is showing you on this eye. Instead of like Horus, he's going down. His eye is pointing down, but this one is pointing up, as in, I'm going higher. In order for you to go higher, you have to go into the dark to bring yourself back into the what? Your higher self. So remember, Lucifer is what? The light bringer. Bring the light from the darkness. The darkness is your inner pits in your stomach, and you bring that up to the light, to your higher self. Bing. I'm illuminating the room. Okay, get it. It's no such thing as no Illuminati coming to get you. They're weak if they don't have the power that you supposed to have. Okay. And so also, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to have to go ahead and pull this out. I have the Moonwalker DVD. I'm just going to show you a picture and not any moving visuals. You're going to see him with a deity called Bes, and it's from Egypt or Kemet. So he's always knowing about these things. So, and he put these things in his movie, and he tried to convey these messages of who he was and who we can be, our inner true self. And it's like a childlike innocence, or the Bes is like the deity of wine, just like Dionysus, and also of childbirth. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you a picture of Michael and standing behind Bess with the tongue out. Okay, watch this. Okay, right here you see Michael Jackson right here standing behind a wall. He was running for somebody in the movie that was chasing him, right? So he's showing you he was looking over the edge or around the corner of the brick wall, right? But you see right here, this is Bess. See with his tongue out? Bess, the deity. All right? Bess, the deity. And Michael Jackson right there. So, and also you have the dragon. They don't put things in movies or whatever on accident. Everything is placed strategically. So, that's the dragon, or Apep. Okay? So he went in, you have to go inside yourself and your inner self and bring out who you are, or your actual inner soul. All right? And this is all I have, and I was very happy he just decided to show me this so I can bring this out and put this out in the public. All right, peace to Michael Jackson and the Jackson family. I know Also, before I go, I wanted to say something. I have to say this. Conrad Murray, I'm not doing like, the whole bashing thing. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep it. I go strictly facts. So as you've seen, me in the book, Conrad Murray, he, propofol, I never even heard of the drug before that situation even occurred. But if you notice, there's a picture I found years ago that he has the mason slash around his shoulders, around his neck, and so I'm like, wait a minute. So if they're trying to stop his hidden self, and he said they're gonna try, he said in his first song on the album, that even if you try to kill me, he already knew what was coming, but he was really trying to prolong the time and trying to get messages out, like when he was in Harlem and speaking to people when he had the mask on, years before this whole supposed virus even occurred. He was wearing that mask and talking to people in Harlem, telling them about all the music that was taken from highly melanated people or so-called black people, and they used it for their own. And he was trying to get these messages out. Even they were trying to take him down. He said, "You tried to stop me on that album, the Invincible album. You've tried to stop me, but I still been able to bounce back and still be able to do my own thing." So I wanted to show you this and say that the whole thing with Conrad Murray is more of a strategic thing. He was set around him as his doctor in order to, when you can get close enough to know him, and then to take care of him and put him away. So I want to say peace to Michael Jackson and peace to the Jackson family. Hey, just because you don't see somebody in their physical body doesn't mean they're not around lurking. All right? And that's fitting, very fitting. Lurking. He could be right around your corner. So if you listen, what you do is listen to music that you have of an artist that you like that's no longer around in the physical form, and they're even powerful, even more powerful outside of the body. All right. So that's all I have for today. Peace, nigga, and kill the day. 32-32 balance.